go. Noodle on his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Whoo! What is going on, Bakers? Hope everyone had a gobble. Happy Thanksgiving. I put on 6 pounds. Check that out yesterday. Always exciting to see where that number lands. A lot of key lime pie found its way into my belly. Didn't know how big of a fan of that I was, so that's bad news for the rest of my life.
It's fun to learn new things about yourself.
Yeah, always learning. I hope you guys, I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving and we get back into the kind of malaise that is December between Thanksgiving to Christmas as we figure out, and basically you get everything in order you need until that first week of January, and then you kind of start a new life again. So with that, hopefully MLB free agency really starts to go. We did have a couple signings. We're going to talk about that. And yeah, as football, the playoff picture starts to figure itself out, and even college football had, I feel like, had everybody's interest during Thanksgiving. But let's talk about the two big MLB free agent signings that happened. Mike Clevinger, Sunshine, he will be going to your Chicago White Sox. The Mid-Sox from last year, they add a guy to their rotation, and man, good for the White Sox. They get Clevinger. Last year, he was not great. He wasn't Mike Clevinger. He was 114 innings, 91 strikeouts. That was his lowest K per 9 in his career. His whip is actually kind of along his career average, but this was his first year back. He got Tommy John. He was out. He comes back. He throws 22 starts, and again, 114 innings. So for a lot of these guys, getting that arm strength built up and getting back into the rhythm, you know, you're going to gain as you go, and that's why he took a 1-year contract. Beeb said what we know is there's 1 year, $8 million guaranteed. We're assuming it's incentive-laden. The numbers still aren't out yet. You wonder how incentive-laden it is because, you know, just thinking back to Noah Syndergaard in his 1 year, didn't he get 1 year for 22 from the Angels, something like that?
Yeah, he declined the 18-ish qualifying and got one for, I think 21?
And kind of similar profiles. I mean, Clevinger, when he was at his best, he was really good. A 3.39 ERA career.
This is the first year he's had an ERA plus, other than his rookie year, outside of the 140s or higher.
I mean,
he's a special stat guy.
2018 through 2020, 61 starts. So, 2020 is the shortened season, and that's when he ends up getting hurt. But 61 starts, so you're looking at basically 2 full seasons, a 2.91 ERA. This guy was lights out. So White Sox take a bet on him to come back. And, by the way, with that White Sox rotation, which, again, Cease, Lynn, Giolito, Kopech, and now Clevinger, Clevinger being able to be the 4th or 5th guy in that rotation while he, in theory, can get better as the season goes on, feels like a good landing spot for him. The White Sox as a whole are going to be fun as we try to digest how bad they were last year into, again, how good they should be. And their lineup has some more holes than you'd expect, especially with Jose Abreu being out now, or being currently a free agent. We'll see if he comes back. But they've got some spots between second base, corner, outfield. Where will Andrew Vaughn slide in? The lineup still has a lot to figure out. I think that was a big problem why they were so inconsistent. They just never fully got it from their offense, along with a lot of injuries in their bullpen. So we'll see what that looks like come next year. But let's see where the numbers actually land on Clevinger, because what we currently know feels a little low in my head. So it's either got to be very incentivized or who knows? It's got to be a funky one. He's a guy that definitely had multiple year offers, but kind of like we talked about with Cody Bellinger, I think the 1 year option is probably the way for him to go.
Feels good.
He wanted that.
Good for him he can reset his market and in 1 year at least get what he probably has on the table. I like what this all where it fits for the White Sox. I think every report is that their payroll probably isn't going to go up from where it was. Abreu's off the books for now. Seems like just will be off the books. Vaughn, I think, is going to slide in at first. It's his natural spot. So for him to be eight-ish million, maybe a little more, seems to where he can potentially be a very, very, very high-end guy. Good gamble.
Interested to see what they do with Vaughn. I know, first base, he can play there. He's been looking for a position, so maybe that is the solution. And they have some holes. Right field, second base, even DH. I know Gavin Sheets took a step, but so that's the first kind of, I don't know, Mike Clevinger. He was a guy that if he was great this year, we'd be talking about hundreds of millions. So the fact that the White Sox get to take a chance on him for 1 year, and he's going to be pitching in the Central, which is good for a lot of pitchers, along a good pitching staff and a good pitching coach. So let's see how that looks for him. The other free agent signing that came from over this, and we're less than a week away from winter meetings, so I expect baseball free agency to really kick into gear. We haven't seen too much yet. Not a lot of people emptying their hands yet.
I don't think anybody's go button's been fully pressed. Teoscar's the big one so far. But
yeah, that was a fun trade.
Angels doing stuff.
And by the way, as you're matching your teams in free agency, why don't you get match 5? The easiest game on the planet to play. My words, and they're actually kind of the words in here, because it's so easy to play. The card that I have with me right now, name 5 ways people annoy you during conversation. That's tricky. I guess if they really don't pay attention, like that would annoy me. If they say the same word a lot, I don't know.
Word a lot.
That's a tough card.
Yeah.
Annoy you in conversation. What if they swish their drink? I have no idea. And I would have to match with BBD or whatever friends and family or whoever you want to play with. It's super easy. It's great for the holidays. Get it in time for Christmas. Save yourself a couple awkward conversations with the family. And you'll save 15% when you use code JOHNBOY at match5, the number 5. Match5trivia.com. Save 15% by entering coupon code JOHNBOY. Thanks, Match5. The other guy who got matched, Carlos Santana. How's your veteran Pirates signing? Plug and play, baby. 1 year, $6 million, 6.4, something like that. And we've seen the Pirates now do this with a veteran or two each year, whether you're talking about Perez behind the dish last year, Quintana with his pitching resurrection in their rotation last year. And Carlos Santana, man, I think you can slot him in as a DH, can play first base if you need it. He's 36 going on 37 now. They also got G-Man. Remember that. So
couple first base DH types.
So
they've brought in.
Right now, top of their lineup, O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Key Brian Hayes, G-Man Choi, Carlos Santana, looking kind of Rays-ish at the top of that lineup. Jack Sawinski, we'll see if he can tap into some of his power a little bit. Obviously, our Pirates are a little bit away. Miguel Andujar on that team. They brought in Lewin Diaz, too, another first baseman. They were really trying to address that. So what does it mean for the Pirates? Yeah, I don't know. They get a veteran. I like that. I do like when these young teams trying to figure it out have veterans that try to show them the ropes in the right way and how to carry yourself and the work ethic and the routine. I mean, Stephen Vogt with the Athletics last year when he was, putting in a full catching session the day before he was retiring, and he was talking about the honor and the privilege that he gets to do that. Carlos Santana is well-liked. 12 years of service time is crazy. And I don't know how much this will affect him, but I guess we're going to find out with a lot of players next year. But supposedly, he's a guy that would get help by the shift getting removed. Switch hitter, but a pull lefty switch hitter. So will that create a couple more base hits for him? Because, Carlos Santana, a lot of you probably remember, prime Carlos Santana was a baller. He's got 32.8 career WAR. He had a couple seasons, 2016, 2017. He was a 260 hitter. Since then, the batting average has really, 2019 he hit 281. Since then, the batting average has been a lot closer to 200, 207. So still a 323 on base. So he's getting on base. There's hints of power there. Obviously in the twilight of his career, the fact he gets a job is a good sign. And like some of those shift numbers, teams will think they can hack into that. And hey, if the Pirates end up having a little fun next year, they can be Orioles-esque from this year. Cool. You got a veteran in Carlos Santana. Seems more than likely that he's going to be a guy that gets traded at the deadline. Will it be traded for a real prospect? Probably not. But I don't know. Good for the Pirates.
Happy for him. It seems like between him and G-Man, couple vets who have done a decent amount, different degrees. Santana's has a lot of playoff runs. So does G-Man at this point, actually, with the Rays. But and then I think optimally for them, at least one of them plays well enough to get like a nice deadline return.
Yeah, and you'd have to lean G-Man. When G-Man's played, he's 31. He's had some injuries, but he's been pretty good. Carlos Santana in the middle of that Pirates lineup. I don't know. Their season is going to hang in the balance of O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Ke'Bryan Hayes. But if you're Carlos Santana, maybe him and O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz is 24 years old. He's a freak like we haven't seen on a baseball field. If Carlos Santana can be the veteran, throw his arm around him, presence, teach him the ropes, teach him the right way to go about it every day, and Carlos Santana can help make O'Neal Cruz a better day-in, day-out ball player, then that $6 million has been the best spent money the Pirates organization has used in a long time. We will see if any of it matters. The Pirates' outlook for this season still not looking great. Those are the baseball signings. Like I said, hopefully the top starts to blow off soon. We need that first big name to drop. I don't know who it is. I don't know if they're waiting for Judgy. Have we even gotten like a good rumor, like a good sniff? Not really.
Not fully. Verlander's the only guy that's had a decent amount of chatter around him. But as far as a bunch of teams involved and kind of what he's looking for. But yeah, there's usually a few tiers that the top guy of each tier has got to sort of set a market and it'll go.
Drop, or sometimes the second guy in the market will drop just because they're not even competing with the first guy. Let's see. Let's get it going. Or if it's not this week, winter meetings is in a week, and that would be actual go time. But I like to think it's been a little too quiet. It's been a little too quiet that I think we're going to get one of the big guys soon. So with that, let's go over to football.